Well, I asked the plasterer if he would do some gardening for me, and he said, yeah, I don't mind doing some gardening for you. He said, of course, you're going to have to pay me plasterer's rates. Yeah. I said, anyway, I've just come up to the bathroom to spy on the gardener to see what he's up to. And he's sloped off somewhere, hasn't he? Yeah, I'm going to have to watch how much I pay him. Well, I went and had a row with the plasterer. Said, if you want to get plasterer's rates for doing the garden, you better get some work done. And he said, oh, governor, he said, I needed to go to the loo. Anyway, I've come back up here and, well, he's disappeared again, hasn't he? Just can't get the staff.
Well, yes, I've achieved things today, probably not the right things, but yeah, I've achieved things. And it's Friday, vendredi. And Friday, of course, we eat fish, don't we? Yeah. Now, some of you may find yourselves in restaurants, in French-speaking places, and you might want fish, and you might want to know what to ask for. Well, sponsored by... Actually, it's not sponsored by them at all. But look, you can have fish and chips. Yeah. And it's cooked without colorants, without, sans, S-A-N-S, is without. So without colorants, without chemicals to make it last a long time, and without palm oil. Yeah, and the flavour, saveur, salt and vinegar. Yeah, because of course the supermarket stocks this stuff for the English amongst us. Yeah, and well, there's 2 fillets, and we ought to look to see what's in this and how to cook it. And it tells us, avant de consommer votre poisson. That's poisson, not poison. Poisson. Yeah. Cook it in one of the methods, one of the following methods of preparation. And, these things are pretty straightforward, aren't they? 20 minutes au four in the oven. Préchauffer, preheat. Now, some of you were ahead of me on that, weren't you? Préchauffez votre four à 220 degrés centigrades. If you've got a fan oven, you only need to put it up to 200. Put the Coland Alaska, it's Alaskan cod, still frozen on a plaque, well, yeah, on a cooking tray, covered with cooking paper. Well, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to put it for 14 minutes à la poêle. A frying pan full of oil, and it tells us that we preheat it for 40 and then cook it for 14 minutes. Wonderful stuff. Right, what have we learnt today? Fish is poisson, not poison. But these, you can tell that this is for the Anglophile customers amongst us. It's so delicious. It tells us to imagine a meal in the streets of London, or during an evening in a British pub. Ah dear, why would anyone want to have a meal in a British pub in the evening? Okay. Un goût typiquement anglais pour une recette très gourmande. So it's a typical flavour, typical English flavour. Yeah. Well, I'm going to get the fat hot, and then I'm going to throw these bits of poisson in hot fat, and I'm going to slice a potato and make chips. I'm going to be horribly English tonight. Yeah. Well, dinner has been duly eaten, and yeah, all good stuff. Fish and chips on a Friday night, how life should be. What are we doing? Well, this particular type of mower has an interesting system for adjusting, I don't know what we call it, the striker plate, the cutting plate, call it what you will. It has a bolt that goes through that hole there, and it rocks, and it's adjusted by not one, not two, but 4 screws. So the idea is you slacken the bolts that go through that hole, and then you adjust these 2. Where are they? These 2. If you want to bring it up, you tighten that one down and you loosen that one up, and equally, you do the same on the other side. Now, I don't really know how old this mower is, and I certainly don't know when it was last serviced, but those screws will not budge. The 2 that were in there wouldn't budge either. They had been soaked with some penetrating oil, didn't make a blind bit of difference. So that's why it's all sort of burnt coloured. You know the old trick, you put a flame on it and you warm up the casting. The idea being that the casting expands more than the screw does, that's the hope. And I managed to tease them both out. Wasn't easy. But yeah, we've got 2 out. We've got 2 more to get out. The only, not clever at all, and most of you probably do this anyway. To get a bit more torque on the screwdriver, I put some mole grips on the shaft of the screwdriver so that I'd actually got a bit more twist to it, as it were. Yeah, it was a struggle, but the thing that I'm very conscious of here in 2023 in France, if I go to the local lawnmower shop and say, have you got adjusting screws for Qualcast B1, they're going to look at me like I'm, well, yeah, quite rightly, they'll look at me as if I'm mad. They are, I think, a Whitworth thread. I haven't checked them, but I suspect they're a Whitworth thread, which would not be too easy to find in England. Here in France, Whitworth just is not a thing. So I'm rather keen not to shear them, not to damage the heads more than is necessary, because they've got to be used again. So there we are. I'm going to have a cup of tea. What was I going to say? Ah, yes. Right. Rollers with 10mm holes in both ends. The shop sells drill bits, Of course they do. They sell drills. Why wouldn't they sell drill bits? And you can buy one 10mm wood drill which wouldn't have done this job, because it's they sell the wood drills they sell have got those little spikes on the end, and I wanted well, in effect, a metal bit. So I looked along and I found the one that I wanted, and it was €11 something or another. And I thought to make 2 holes. Anyway, I looked up and down the shelves, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then I came across a complete boxed set of drills, about 8 bits, including a 10mm, that was just a shade under €5. And I thought, well, it's probably not the highest quality drill bit, but I want to drill 2 holes. So I bought the pack of drills, chucked the bit in the lathe, alright, the Black & Decker drill attachment, and using the towel stock to centre things up, I bored a couple of holes. There's nothing clever to it, just sort of take a bit of time to do it and keep everything square. But yeah, I'm going to go and drink some tea. And now we can cut grass. Ha! Oh dear, can I push this one-handed? Well, yeah, pleased with that. Pleased with that. I'm not quite sure that it's going to be my only machine for cutting this garden. Yes, it needs sharpening. Yes, it needs adjusting. Yes, I got the screws out. That took a bit of doing. A lot of patience involved in that. Heating it, turning it a bit. But I got all 4 screws out. I haven't got thread chasers, so I duffed them up on a wire wheel, put them back in, and yeah, there we are. We have a working Qualcast B1 12-inch cut lawnmower. Yeah, I think it could do with paint and stuff, don't you?